Hi, I'm Dr. Brian Babcock, and welcome back to our Lecture 3.1, this time B, as we're exploring interpreting narrative, the use of plot, time, and point of view. We're going to pick back up here as we are continuing our understanding or narrative analysis of time. Joseph, the drama of Joseph and Dothan that we talked about a few minutes ago, only sparingly uses explicit indications of time and compensates for this with a wealth of data about space. The two paragraphs preceding the brothers' conspiracy in verses 12 to 14 and 15 to 17 direct our attention towards Joseph's journey. The goal of his quest has been set by the Father who sends him out. The passage reads, "One time, when his brothers had gone to pasture their flocks at Shechem, Israel said to Joseph, 'Your brothers are pasturing at Shechem. Come, I will send you to them.' He answered, 'I am ready.' And he said to him, 'Go and see how your brothers are, and how the flocks are faring, and bring me back word.' So he sent him from the valley of Hebron, and Joseph came near Shechem. A man found him wandering in the fields, and the man said to him, 'What are you looking for?' And he answered, 'I am looking for my brothers. Could you tell me where they are pasturing?' The man said, 'They have gone from here, for I heard them say, let us go to Dothan.' So Joseph went after his brothers and found them at Dothan." At first sight, these two fragments do not seem at all remarkable. A closer look, however, yields a different insight. The paragraph of departure is framed by the name of the town Joseph is making for and by the complementary going and coming. At the end, the names of Hebron and Shechem are close together, indicating start and finish of the journey, and moreover, hinting that Joseph will have some way to go, about 3 days' march. The father's attention focuses on the well-being of brothers and flock. The question of how the contact between this young man and his brothers will work out raises some misgivings. As early as verse 4, we have been told that they have a falling out. And it is there, too, that we find the first shalom, indicating that nothing positive is said by the brothers anymore. And here we have the father asking Joseph to bring him back a double shalom of well-being in the shape of a positive word. Well, we will have to see whether this quest will succeed at all. The second paragraph is a well-rounded story in a thumbnail size. At the opening, Joseph has lost his way, which, given the context, is a poor show. Could it be a bad omen? At the end of the paragraph, everything is all right, as he has been helped on his way by a passerby, and he reaches the place where he wants to be, in Dothan. The short intermediary quest has apparently succeeded. The incident between the beginning and the end, however, is intriguing. In the first place, the boy is searching. This is to no avail, and he is found. Secondly, by not saying that he comes upon a man, but rather that the man comes upon him, the text underlines a curious reversal that is not favorable for Joseph. He is the object of someone else's finding, which aptly illustrates how badly lost he is. And of course, we know that what will follow, he will be the object and victim of his brothers. Reuben will not get the chance to restore him to his father, as he wanted in verse 22. And what will be restored to the father is a bloody coat with an apparently unambiguous message. Here in verse 16, Joseph is the requesting and dependent party. He has no notion of what is really happening in the evil outside world. He adds a symbolic surplus value to the mysterious stranger who must show him the route towards pit and slavery. To have lost one's way is an expression, too, that we use figuratively. The next two paragraphs in Genesis 37 have also been marked by spatial terms. In both segments, the opening contains an opposition between far off and close by. While Joseph is still a long way off, the writer could let us overhear the conspiracy. After he has arrived, however, a rapid succession of actions quickly flushes Joseph down a hole. There is no time for discussion now. Turning to point of view, our knowledge of a narrated situation expands if we keep asking ourselves whose perspective we are actually being given. I will give an example about David from 2 Samuel 15 when David sets off on his march towards the east. His general Ittai, leading 600 Philistine mercenaries, also starts to move along with his troops. And the king said to Ittai the Gittite, "Why should you go with us also? Go back and stay with the king, for you are a foreigner, and you are also an exile from your country. You came only yesterday. Should I make you wander about with us today, when I myself must go wherever I can? Go back and take your kinsman with you." The narrator does not refer to the speaker by his proper name of David, but calls him the king. This is in flagrant contrast to the second king in the clause, "Stay with the king." The reader may be confused for a moment. To whom does this speech refer? Yet as soon as we ask ourselves whose point of view is represented here, there is room for the discovery that the second king refers to the rebel Absalom, in spite of the fact that this is a speech of David's, who has no intention of giving up his throne without a struggle. Thus, the speaker David shows he has identified with the interests of Ittai and his troops. Now that he is robbed of his power, David, he is so loyal as to restore freedom of choice to his mercenaries. It is better for their future their fortune and their future to offer their services to the new king. By means of the first, the king, the narrator himself has given us a hint as to his position. Absalom, he still sees the fugitive as the king. Let me say that again. By means of the first king, the narrator has given us a hint as to his position in the confrontation with David. Absalom, he still sees the fugitive as the king and goes on with the title. In its literary sense, the concept of perspective or point of view is simple and may be pinpointed in the text relatively easily. Other forms in which this concept is used require more alertness and training, and I'm referring here to the emotional and conceptual perspectives. These go deeper than mere observations. The way real-life people of flesh and blood view things is usually determined by self-interest, socioeconomic position, talents, background and education, desires and plans, and this series of factors is by no means exhaustive. The same applies to many characters. They too will usually view their situation in a specific way and through a specific type of glasses. They are rarely neutral or objective. The conceptual and emotional point of view may be aptly illustrated with the example of David, who has to flee and is willing to relieve his general Ittai from his duties towards himself. By suggesting that Ittai stay with the king, Absalom, David suspends his self-interest in a gesture unusual for him and identifies with the uncertain situation of the mercenary who, being an exile from Gath, has nowhere to go. The sequel is pleasant. Precisely by giving up his commander and his regiment, David wins them back and is assured of their unconditional and personal loyalty. The writer gives this a specific form and space by having Ittai speak in 2 Samuel 15. Ittai replied to the king, "As Yahweh lives, and as my lord the king lives, wherever my lord the king may be, whether for death or for life, there your servant will be." This is no less than an oath, the strongest and most binding language available, and it is being taken not only on God's life, but also on the king's, a flattering parallelism. Apart from the opening of the oath, its content is clearly structured by 2 or 3 pairs, by the comprehensive life and death. The speaker indicates that he will follow his Lord in all situations imaginable. Their fates will be identical, thus the mirroring of wherever and may be, and there will be. The message conveyed by these symmetries is one of unity and inseparability. That is the emotional, but also the military and political point of view of this professional soldier. The most important window on the character's emotional and conceptual perspectives is their own words, at least if they are not deceiving us or their conversation partner. We remain alert and should always weigh speech against the character's action. As we come to the end of this mini lecture, or 2 mini lectures, I want to highlight that the author made a choice of what to include and what to leave out. The Bible has an economy of information, meaning that everything included is important. If we are told that Saul is tall, there's a reason. If we're told that David is short, there's a reason. If we're told that David is good looking, there's a reason. See if you can interpret the meaning, and I look forward to your exploration of narrative criticism this week. Good luck on your assignment. I hope that as you work through the assignments this week, that they are both rewarding and challenging. Thanks for watching the video, and have a great day.